Hey guys, we're back with a another deck profile. We just had the Clan Collections 5 and 6 drop in. Uh, the Rebirth came out and a lot of other interesting cards. The Rebirth, I've been testing it for a little bit. I got all my stuff in. It's probably my favorite thing to play in this format right now. It's undoubtedly like the one of the bigger high roll, I guess, competitive decks you could say. The version I'm playing is I'm gonna say it's probably not the one that most people would like to play with the cross. It's with Dauntless Drive. I can go over the crosses variant in this profile, but I've been having a lot of fun with this. Attacking your opponent's Vanguard 4 times is insanely fun. It's also a little mean for them, but that's absolutely fine. So our starter, real quick, let's just get this out of the way. We got Lagra. Any Kagero starter is fine. It draws you a card. It gets you a quick shield. Lagra's cute. I don't know what to say about that. We'll put you off to the side right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and cover my grade threes real quick. So we have 4 copies of Dragonic Overlord, the Rebirth. As you could tell by the sleeves, he's the main card of the deck. What he does is at the beginning of the battle phase, you take all of your rear guards and you lock them, and locked meaning they can't really do anything. So you're just stuck with one Vanguard, and he gets a skill at the end of the battle that he swings. You counterblast 1, discard 1, and you can restand him. His second skill is for every 2 locked cards, you can Soul Blast 1 when he swings and kill an opponent's rear guard. Nice little board control, nothing super crazy about that. And the last skill is if you have 4 or more damage and you have 5 locked cards, you can discard 2 and restand him, and then get a force marker and put it on Vanguard. So you, he's pretty self-explanatory. You're just swinging a bunch of times with Vanguard and hitting him as hard as you can. Nothing super crazy. So to complement him, we have the Dauntless Drive Dragons. Now, Dauntless Drive, this is kind of a turn 4 deck. Dauntless Drive will give the Rebirth an extra restand. So instead of having 3 Vanguard attacks in one turn, you have 4. It's pretty powerful, at least I'd say. You need your opponent's gonna need a decent bit of hand size to stop this, or it's just gonna kind of steamroll them. The more consistent way to play this is probably with the cross in the end. That way, you just have a general balanced gameplay, because this card's kind of while it seems really good, it seems also very fair. So in terms of how much you're keeping in hand and stuff like that, so it kind of goes well with the cross if you're getting rushed or all that. It's a different play. You're kind of playing like Astral Poets, but with Kagero, because you're just taking your force markers and throwing every single one of them on the Vanguard until your opponent is dead. Um, so yeah, like I said, I'll go over what you could do to put the cross in, but I think this is probably my favorite way to play the deck. I love the high rolly aspect of it, and you kill your opponent on turn 4. It's super funny. Your grade 2s, you're looking at 4 copies of Break Breath Dragon. From Break Breath is the when something rides over him, you kill something on your opponent's board, and if you couldn't, you get to draw a card. And then after a battle that he swings, if something on your opponent's board died, you get to draw a card, which is good. But the second effect really doesn't come up. He's just a really good ride. Like I said, you're locking your whole board, so most of your rearguard effects aren't really ever going off, except for these next 2, because these will be just main phase ones. It's 4 copies of, I believe this is Tord Cannon. Tord Cannon's really cool. So Tord Cannon makes it so you can counterblast 1, tuck a card. I think it's anything that's not a trigger, right? Grade 2 or less. So you can put grade 2 or less from your drop to the bottom of the deck, kill one of your opponent's rear guards. And if you have 4 or less cards in hand, you can draw a card. This is really good because before you do locking your whole board, you can use his ability if you need to refill your hand to get the cost for Dauntless Drive. This is your way to do it. Otherwise, this is just a really solid card. And the last one is Wyvern Strike. Ooh, no. No, stay on the mat. What are you doing? Wyvern Strike Doha. So Doha, the use of this is for the turn 3 play. Or I mean, you could do it turn 4 too, but it's really good turn 3 because you can, if you have 2 counterblast, you call this out, grab yourself the grade 1 Wyvern Strike Garen from deck. You have a nice little column. You can swing, and if you hit, you draw. You can draw a card off of Garen's skill. But the on hit isn't what's important. The important thing is for a counterblast, I can make a column, which means this is a instead of dropping 5 cards to fill up your board for the Rebirth, you can call 1 less. I mean, if you have 2, you counterblast 2, and you have 4 rear guards. That's pretty good. That's the overall mindset with this card. It's not necessarily to actually get the on draw effect, but if you get it, you get it. So grade 1 lineup is super. We have like the consistency, which is the lava flow to check your top 5 at a grade 3, and then discard 1. Nishat, when he gets ridden over, you check your top 5 at a grade 3, and you don't have to discard. It's all we really have. We don't have as much good generic Kagero stuff because they've been kind of shafting us the last clan collections. Not giving us extra 1s and 2s like they've been giving other clans. So Bushiroad, give us something other than these these guys, because I'd like something else. This is to go with the Wyvern Strike Doha. It is Wyvern Strike Garen. If your opponent has no rear guards, he gets +5, which doesn't really come up that often. Its second effect is the on hit. If it boosted Garen, you counterblast 1, you draw 1, you soul charge. You won't. Again, you don't really get that off too often. If you do, you do, and it's kind of nice. It is just kind of to be a call target for Doha, which is why we only play the couple copies. And the last spot is going to be the 2 copies of Sobble Dragonute. Air mode doesn't come up in this deck as much as I thought it would. So Sobble is kind of your 10th good ride, because you can, if you go second, you can ride it, swing, and if you hit, you draw a card. Otherwise, if a rear guard gets popped, you can pop it to draw a card. It fills sort of the same position Air mode did. If you I would play more of this, but I have horrible luck with this card specifically. So if I cut this down to 2 copies, I will always draw 1 and damage check the other, and it's just not fun. So I play the 3 copies because I don't want to deal with it. If you have better luck than me, you could put it to 3 and then play 2 of this. Or if you're like, hey, I feel like I don't see my grade 3s that much, then you could play a 2-2 split, and then this could be an extra grade 3. You could play like a Blade Master, that's always super good. But I think for or at least how my luck is, that's the best way I can build this deck. And then the trigger lineup is this generic 8 critical triggers. You want to hit a crit so that you can give Overlord an extra crit, because we play Force 1 in this deck, so we don't necessarily have any crit pressure. So got to make him hit for something. So we maxed out on these. We play the 4 draw PGs. We just want to see cards in hand. Both of our grade 3s kind of want us to have cards in hand, and also we need to draw into pieces like Doha or anything else just so we can fill up our rear guards, and the 4 heal guards, because heal guards are absolutely nutty. They stop you from dying at scenarios you probably would have died to in previous formats. The the changes you can make with this deck. So if you're not a fan of high rolling with these two, right? You're like, listen, I think this is a funny concept, but it's not for me. What do I do to make this like, you know, more consistent? So you can the grade 3 instead that you would play would be 4 copies of the cross. The cross can copy any overlord from your deck by soul blasting one and putting the one from deck to soul. So you could play like 3 copies of this, or 3 copies of the end, depending on what your preference is. I would say if I was going for that build, I'd play like 2 of the end and 3 of the rebirth because the rebirth is just really good. Um, Overall, then the deck just becomes a bit more consistent, and it has like a bit more of a, what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, not power. I guess like you're a little more flexible because if your opponent like rushes you down or whatever, you can ride the rebirth first and then maybe go force 2 and just start swinging with crit pressure and then go into this later, or you can keep going the force 1 route, which is really good. Um, that's it's pretty much that's pretty much the big change there. Obviously, if you're playing the cross instead of the Dauntless drives, that means in your grade 2 spot you can find room for Igni Road Dragon, because Igni Road searches the cross, and he also gets a little power buff. So again, if you're looking for a more consistent way, this is the package you want to go with instead of the Dauntless drive. And I mean, you could pick in your grade 2s, you can kind of pick on what you want, because for me personally, the Doha's right here, Doha is insanely good. I believe this card is so good in this deck. But if you do not need it, or you want to play this package, you could cut it instead. Torrid Cannon is also a thing that you could consider cutting for the Igni Road, because Torrid Cannon, he's just for that kind of follow up, right? He's not really plussing you until you hit a low enough hand size. Mind you, if you're on the cross, I guess you are drawing a card, but I mean, it's a bit of a wait to get to. I like my pluses early on. That's just how I play it. And then for one other replacement, I would say somewhere in your list, I would throw back in the copies of Ermo, because if this is when you play Dauntless in the Rebirth, you have like a turn 4, you're trying to kill them turn. You're not super concerned about resources, but where you play the cross, you can kind of grind things out because you'll just be netting hand constantly. So having something to get back your resources is pretty good. So I'd say Ermo over Sobble, Dragonute then. But otherwise, like, I think if you're looking to have the most fun with this deck, and my preference, you gotta go with these two. These two are great. I've had a lot of good games with these two. It's Yeah, I don't know how else to put that. Like it feels really dumb to have 4 Vanguard swings in a turn. That your opponent just has to kind of be like, all right, well, I either have like 4 perfect guards in hand or I die. So it's really funny to put them in such an awkward situation like that. Yeah, overall that's the deck. If you guys have any specific profiles you're looking for, let me know. Not particularly for V. I don't particularly play this format too much. I pretty much just play Kagero. Sometimes I pick up a funny joke deck, so I'll have a couple more random Kagero lists out for you, but I can't guarantee you something like for other clans, because again, I enjoy Kagero a lot, so I'll always have some dumb profile for this up. And yeah, guys, that's gonna do it for this. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later. Uh-oh.